Excuse me, sir. Guy.
Wait.
Hello. Chicken.
Thank you, darling.
Yeah. Hello.
Wait.
Look good.
It's all right. We'll get it all good. Where's my music? There we go. What a morning. Oh my God. Okay, Todd.
Morning.
Morning. We got Angry Bubba floating around as well. He just disappeared for a second or two. I'm pretty sure he'll come back on camera. Mark Van Dawn, Mark Van Dawn back there. Big W, g'day, Jim, Stuart. Who else we got? Scrolling back there. Yeah, just a bit of a shaky start this morning. Look at that, she's brought me chicken, yes. Fried chicken for breakfast. Yummy.
You get spoiled.
Got my coffee, got my chicken. I've had my muffins. It's all good. Yeah, and I'm totally sort of got everything all screwed up at the moment. All the stuff is on the wrong windows. There we go. Scrape that over there. What else was I looking for? Yeah, okay. I think we're sort of back into some sort of semblance of normality. We are live, and you know this is it, isn't it? I think this is probably where StreamYard wins over, because you're going into an ingest which is run by somebody else, and it's always the same. With me, it's all technical jiggery pokery to actually get a live stream running, and I got to get it all set up, ready to go, and 10 minutes before we started, we got sidetracked on a subject, didn't we?
Wombat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, wombat, squirrel, wombat. Yeah, what we were doing was we were talking about, like in the most recent video of Chanya riding around on the motorcycle with me on the back, no helmet. So it's again, oh my God, this insistent, you should be wearing your helmet rule. You should be wearing your helmet rule. I'm going, wake up, people. Right? You are so programmed by the narrative, right, of the helmet manufacturers and the snowflakes of this planet, right? And what I was doing, the reason why I was slow to start, is I was trying to find some statistical data that supported what I was going to talk about. And what I was going to talk about there was, right, 2 years ago, they brought in this new licensing law here in Thailand, where if you had a motorcycle over 400 cc's, you were going to have a separate license. Of course, that's still an issue, but it's just all muddled up. But there were some statistics came out that actually showed a proper spread of the motorcycle accidents sort of statistics here in Thailand. And what the data was showing there was the fact that people over the age of 25 on big bikes or bikes over 400 cc's, there was basically nobody getting hurt. People had the Darwinism effect of idiots on the road have taken its toll, and the people who don't know how to ride, or people who their mother brought them a big bike because they were 17 years old, and the first thing they do is go out and kill themselves. Well, Darwinism kicked in, and all those people are dead now, right? And so by the age of 25 on a big bike, there was nobody having an accident, or there was still the odd accident, which was no better, no worse than you would get anywhere else in the world. The biggest problem here in Thailand is the fact that half the people on the road on motorcycles don't have a damn license to start with, right? Well, that's part of it. Secondly is, motorcycle, like, I don't know how many times I go out on the road and I see these kids, and I honestly believe, how old are you? 12? And you got 3 people on the back? And you go on, this is why this is the major reason why the statistics are so high. And of course, we don't see this spread of statistics about age groups, license, right, and competency is the major thing I'm getting at. And of course, what we're doing is we're just the people who just don't know how to ride, or the idiots on the road, right? Basically, they're taking care of the problem. They're just, by the age of 25, they're not having a problem anymore because Darwinism has kicked in and they've killed them all, or they've come off a real cropper, right? And then they start wearing safety gear. But really, helmet. We were going back to in the 50s. We never had problems with although I didn't ride in the 50s, but helmet laws in the 50s, helmet laws in the 60s, right? Helmets have never been an issue. Helmets don't give you anything really extra to safety. They narrow the vision of your overall vision, right? The only thing I can find useful about a helmet is 2 things. One is the fact that it keeps the bugs out of your eyes, which is a positive, because that's nothing worse than having a wasp fly into your eye, And yeah, you have a wasp fly in your eye. Guess what? You're more than likely to hit the next tree, right? So that's one positive. The second positive is they cut down the wind noise on your microphone. But honestly, we are so programmed by the narrative that people don't realise the fact that if you've done 5 years on a motorcycle without an accident, you really don't need a helmet anymore, right? That's the bottom line. You've gone through the gauntlet, you've got competency on the bike, and you know how it works, right? And that's invariably the way it works all around the world. Unfortunately, sort of Thais on themselves, they just get on the bike at a very young age, and they've got no idea of road sense, no idea. Yeah, Bota, come on! I know we were having a long chat yesterday. He's a young lad not young lad. He's actually one of your crew, Todd. He's a New Zealander. He's just done his 20 years. He was telling me something really interesting. You know how you've got your, I'm looking over you. Look, you know how you've got your pension. There is none in New Zealand. You can do 20 years and that's it. See you later.
Okay. I know it's different in every different military. So
but
I know the Veterans Affairs in America is different to Australia. So I can't comment because I've never been enrolled in those military services. I can only comment on the Australian TVA system. That's all.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised to hear that from New Zealand.
Yeah, Dowlow. I didn't like wearing a helmet. Gave me helmet hair, male pattern baldness. Cured that. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. So of course, I'm not going to pick on Bubba here, but there's to say a guy that goes bald on the top of the head is a great thinker, right? And the guy that goes bald on the front of his head, they're a great lover. But if they go bald on the front and go bald on the top, they just think they're a great lover. I think that was a Monty Python thing from way back. Or it could have been Benny Hill. Could have been Benny Hill.
I shaved my head, so I don't-
Yeah, it's all right. You're not really
I could grow
bald.
hair if I wanted to.
You're just faking it. That's it. Yeah. Somebody's actually said, why don't I do it? And I'm going, I don't know. It's just, if I don't like it, then what do you do after you don't like it? You get 6 weeks of waiting for it to grow back. Ugh.
No.
But anyway.
I went from extremely long hair to short hair overnight, and I never had any issues. So.
Yeah, well, I went from long hair, and then so Chanya cut my hair, I think 6 months after I was living here. She did a sort of about this length or a little bit longer, and I just didn't like it there. I said, no, just take it all off. But now I need to get back to this. Salon's back open again now, so I need to get back and get a haircut. But yeah. Yeah, so he's just saying everybody in New Zealand gets a pension at 65 regardless of what you've done or not done. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I was really surprised at the fact that they don't do a stipend for the people who have served 20 years in the military. Not unlike Australia does. I know America does, but it's strange to hear New Zealand doesn't.
Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah.
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 I'm actually a little bit blown away by that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
Because like we have that Anzac situation where it's the cultural thing where we have Anzac Day, and the NZ part of Anzac is New Zealand, so it's always something that's I've had a lot of I suppose attachment to. So to find out what we call a fellow brother in arms is not sort of being looked after, I get a little bit upset. So
Yeah, you give your all. You basically give your life to the protecting the country, and then it's like just up yours. We don't give a damn anymore. You're going, really?
well,
Robert Graves, can we ban Robert Graves? Get out of here! Get away!
I love the idea, man. Yeah, I love the idea.
That's it.
Well, it's coming up to November, and there's a thing we do in Australia called Movember. Where
Movember.
we grow moustaches, and it raises funds for a fantastic charity. So I think Wazza should let his hair grow wild and then get Chanya to cut it all off live on Saturday morning. What do you reckon?
Well, we
We do
get
the same thing here in Alabama. every
What the
November.
Movember? Yeah,
Good
okay.
as well, Bubba?
Yep.
Anzac deployment in Iraq. That's right. Anzac deployment in Iraq caused the same problems. New Zealand still got taxed on operations in Australia. Yeah, it's crazy shit, isn't it? I can't understand. Yeah. Well, look, Chris. Like, if you want to come on, just come. You can always add your 2 cents worth. You come and jump on the. I know he's worked out how to use Discord. Yeah, and okay, let's do the plug again. Like, you do want to come on. You can come on. You can be a voice in the background in the group here if you want. If you want to come on the screen, then just turn your camera on and make sure you're wearing some clothes. That's all. We don't want to have the channel banned because somebody comes on and flashes their dick or something. Look, I'm waiting for some cretin to actually do that one day. So I'm always poised there to actually drop the video.
Oh, Stubbsy. Ashley and Martin in Thailand. I don't know. That's something Wazza could probably answer.
What's that
Is
one?
there hair replacement options in Thailand?
Oh, look, Chanya's actually mentioned it a few times, and she says it's actually quite inexpensive, when you're considering what it would cost in Australia. But again, like, I'm not worried about the fact that I'm going bald. Like, I don't think I'm 60 years old. I do have hair; it's just very thin. That's all. There is hair there, but it's just
No, there isn't.
there's hair there. There's fluff there, but it's it's.
No.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. God, Jesus. People get us to say, are you shy about your hair loss or your bald patch? That's why you're always wearing a hat. I said, no, I wear a hat because it's bloody hot here and the sun can give you sunburn. God, really, come on. Where's the logic gone in the planet these days? I can never really understand where the logic of people is. And as there's somebody on one of the videos, Chanya's not showing you any interest, or she's more interested in her phone. What has that got to do with the price of eggs? Really? No, people just, that's the world over. It's got nothing to do with relationships. It's got to do with the fact that she's got something in her. She's got somebody messaging her on them, and they're going, when it happens, that's it. It's a natural reaction. Pick up your phone and answer. I don't, but most people do. I don't know. They read too much into things. If I thought it was an issue, I would actually cut it out of the videos. But I've got no problem with my relationship. We're all good. Yeah, Robert
You look
Crow.
at a slice of a day, actually. What you look at a slice of a day. There's 24 hours in a day. You put that down to minutes. You put that down to seconds. You show a certain proportion of what your life is like with Chanya in a 9 to 10 minute package, and for 20 seconds she's on the phone.
Mm.
And people make a snapshot of your entire life, your entire personality on 10 seconds. Ignoramus. I made a response to one of the comments that was on one of your videos, and all I can say is ignoramus. If you're judging someone on 10 seconds of a video, your IQ level is not that high. I'm sorry. I'll just get off my soapbox now. I'll exit stage right.
I'm just g'day, Bryce. How you doing? Yeah. So
Brycey's here. Hello.
Bryce is here. He's not showing his camera, but he's going to put his camera on there. But yeah, so somebody just said to get the levels adjusted, so I just had to tweak that a bit. Just watching the voice levels there, you were just only peaking in the yellow, not in the red, so that should be a bit better. Seth Baker, g'day. So Dallo, he's there. Sick puppy, got the usual crowd here. What was this? Warren, you need to adjust the body. Yes, okay. Andy Stubbs, Wazza. Hair, keep it, or as long as you can. Is Ashley? That was the Ashley Martin thing. Yeah. No, I don't think it's Ashley Martin, but I've sort of seen. Another thing you can do, you can get actually a head tattoo, which sort of they tattoo your head, your scalp, and put fake tattoo hair on. That's another thing that's been done over here. But it's right. That's quite expensive. I think I was checking the price out, like 25,000 for a head tattoo. God, all my tattoos didn't cost 25,000, but they use a very fine needle or something to, and it's a long process, I guess.
My heads are very sensitive. I'm not sticking a needle in them.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
Yeah, but how real would it look, though? That's the whole thing. It's only
Well,
a tattoo.
the pictures make it look good. But yeah, I think I'm a bit sceptical about it. But Chanya's sort of said that why don't I get the hair, the hair transplant? And I'm going, yeah, where are they getting the hair from? I think they pull it out of your ball sack, don't they? I really.
Well, most guys have hairy backs. Why not take it from there?
I really don't know. Just the whole idea of having pubes on your head just doesn't really work for me.
Or your armpits.
Or your armpits. Yes.
Guys have hairy armpits.
I'm
I'm just saying.
Hey,
Good morning. If you're having your breakfast, we apologise.
did somebody invite me into this? Because I was online, but it just rang up on here. So did somebody invite me into this chat?
Well, I pulled you down from the lobby into the streaming, so because you were
Oh,
here.
thanks very much.
It's always good having you here, Brycey.
Well, you're a very diplomatic person, mate.
Yeah, am I?
I just came from the bar. I live in a place called El Paso, Texas, and all the Afghanistan refugees have been brought to the base. It's the largest U.S. Army base in America. I was sitting in a bar about 10 minutes before I came on here, and there's a lot of really glum-looking people. And I said to the guy next to me, I said, "How you doing, mate?" He goes, "Oh, not so bad." I said, "I haven't seen the bar for a while." He goes, "Yeah, I've been away for a month." And I figured out what he was doing. His wallet was open. He had a CAT card, which is a military ID card in his wallet. And I thought, okay, I know what you've been up to. But anyway. That's
Okay,
by the way,
Yeah.
go on.
and it's a shit show, by the way. Warren, I watched your latest video with Chandra,
Yeah.
and you know, I'm always very open, and I give you my honest opinion. I thought it was really good. I thought there was a little bit too much stuff on the motorcycle, but what I did see from your video, there was a lot more viewers. So I think you obviously hit the right spot there.
Yeah, another thing that they seem that this is something we've been looking at. I hardly ever look at the analytics on my channel, and I was saying only earlier this week that we're talking about demographics. My channel has pretty much consistently been like 95% male, for the last 5 years, and all of a sudden I've just seen a blip in the female. It's actually now 87% male and 13% female viewers, and there's been a sudden lift in my female viewership, and I can only put that down to one thing I did change recently, which was those shorts. Right?
They're good because
Yeah.
they are short, and it just gives you a brief look at life, and then it's out of there.
Yeah, and I think it's because I think women are more on their phone looking at that stuff. That's the only thing I can put it down to. So that's lifted the female viewership. So, hello girls, how you going? They probably don't come on this thing, but yeah. Look, Sick Puppy just asked a question. Should I do Phuket Sandbox or Pattaya ASQ, ALQ? I plan to come next month. I don't want to book Sandbox and then find out Pattaya cut back on their QT. Look, this is it's a real minefield. I look at it two ways, Sick Puppy. The first way is, are you claustrophobic, right? Are you going to have an issue, right, about being cooped up in a hotel room for 2 weeks, right? If you have claustrophobia and that's going to be an issue, then I think you really need to look at a Sandbox model. The trouble is the fact that Sandbox model, well, that could close down at any time, and you got no guarantees. The second way to look at it is price. I think the ASQ that they're doing here tends to be cheaper than the Sandbox model. But again, it really depends on the hotels you're using. So it's a real. There's no guarantee that anything's going to work. And I would sort of still be, if you're planning the 4 to 6 weeks that I think 6 weeks you're coming for. 2 weeks you're going to be sort of stuck for 2 weeks anyway. So it's almost like a waste of money. In my mind, it's a waste of money, and I'll be waiting till next year. Like, are you so desperate to get back to Thailand now, right, that you have to be here, right? The bars are closed, the nightclubs are closed, right? Are you really that anxious to get back and eat your pad thai? To me, it just doesn't make sense. I know Todd is. He's like, he 25.
Nothing wrong with pad thai, mate.
$25 for a pad thai and $25 for a pad thai in South Australia. Yeah, 40 baht over here. But yeah,
if he's coming,
hang on.
he's coming to retire. And right now, with everything empty, the prices are cheap. You lock into a cheap lease for a year. Now is the best time for him to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're coming for a long term, you're planning that long term move. It's just going to come down to the ASQ versus the Sandbox
I would
pricing.
do Phuket just because at least they're allowed out now.
Yeah, but like we talk to Sonny all the time off channel. He doesn't like the live streams, but when we talk off channel, he just says, "Yeah, look, you have to sort of face it. Phuket is the most expensive place in Thailand. So why they're putting so much emphasis on this sandbox model and not focusing on getting the vaccine out to people, that's anybody's guess. It's only a small subsection of the whole Thailand economy and community. But yeah, they had to trial something. They have to get some confidence in the fact that we're going to have to live with this pandemic and get on with life. And I think that's starting to be the general consensus now, even with the Mu variant sort of rearing its ugly head. Anyway, so everyone just catching up on. Thanks, Mark. I would have to go to Phuket and then find out Pattaya is open for vaccinated people. It's just it changes daily, and there's not much we can really do with it. Somebody did reference a channel the other day about gave me some clues. Unfortunately, I don't have it ready. But this guy here has been doing a lot of information on the whole sandbox model, how to go through all the steps. I wonder if I can find it. No, probably not easy without sort of boring you guys. I don't even know where I put it. No, I didn't. It wasn't a link. You just mentioned it. That was Chris was talking about it. He sort of mentioned these other channels yesterday. Anyway, so not that anxious, but I am tired of the States right now. I'm going insane living with the woke with the snowflakes. Oh, God. It's amazing how this woke snowflake generation can drive so much of our public thinking. What has happened with the world, right? The smart people have just turned around and said, we'll just give up in society now and we'll go and do our own thing, but they don't make any waves. We're going to start making waves again and eat chicken.
I don't think it's that. I think we just keep moving forward as we were, I suppose, shown as kids to do, or educated as smart young adults to do, and then later on in our midlife we put into practice our education, our learning, our life experiences, and we just continue to do that. Those people that will do will continue to thrive and survive. Those that don't will remain in the Dr. Google and nurse Facebook environment, and God bless every single one of them, because they'll need as much help to survive as a lion on the Sahara chasing down a gazelle. Yeah, I know. That's the image I have. I mean, if you're going to go through your life looking up Dr. Google and nurse Facebook and say, that is correct, that is what I believe, that is how I'm going to live my life, I'm sorry, you're living in a land of delusion.
Guys, do me a favour. Tell me when you're going to go live on YouTube, because I will get up here.
You are live. It's all right. Just turn the camera off if you don't want to be. You don't want to see your face. Just turn the camera off.
No, I'm glad you told me that. I've seen the news actually. They're opening Chiang Mai up and some other places in Thailand in order to get tourism in again. Which is great for me, because I'm planning on going to Chiang Mai when I get there. But, there's actually some news broadcasts from Thailand. You got the tiger. I don't know if you guys have seen that, and some other stuff. But it's all very mixed messages, and so I think the best information we get is from people like yourself, Warren, who actually live there. But,
well. Yeah, it's all right. We've been talking about this week as well. It's off camera, and I've got to do more videos about this particular subject, because I think it quite often gets mixed messages. To Thailand is one of these weird places where every province is, it's like America. You know how America has different state laws, but it's a fairly large area. Well, Thailand operates in a very much the same sort of context in a lot of areas, and so every province of Thailand has a governor who has a certain level of authority. I can't say above the mandated government system, but at least they have some sort of sway in decision-making processes, and this is confusing. I was talking to, I've chatted with one of my guys, one of my friends on the Facebook chat. Now, he's been asking about my renewal, so my health insurance, reaching over here, so the health insurance is here, so that's all ready to go. Got all that with paperwork ready to go. I'll go in next Wednesday. All I've got to do is pick up my bank account. But I went in there last week and got them to confirm with me what I needed at this immigration office. What do I need to renew my visa at this office? And she gave me a whole list, and the things that aren't listed on the website for immigration was the fact that I need to bring Chanya's ID card, or Chanya's got to come with me, bring her ID card, bring her Tabian barn, even though we've already done the TM30 to notify immigration of the change of address. They want to come, and it looks like it's got to be done again a second time. But they said we went and investigated, they gave us a list of things, so we'll go back next Wednesday with all that sort of stuff, pay the 1900 baht, and Bob's your uncle. Whereas he's gone, this other guy's living in Bangkok now, right, and he went to the immigration office in Changwatana, and they sort of said, no, you'll have to go to Pattaya to renew your visa. And I can only put it down to the fact that he hasn't followed all the correct procedural steps about changing his address. Because there is a defined methodology that they work through, and as I sort of said, I'm still swear blind that these computer systems in immigration are not linked. I said I've done my 90-day check-in, I've done a renewal, and then I've done it a second time 90-day check-in. No problem about doing it at Nakhon Pathom there. The website was an issue, but no problem with they've done all that. Now I'm been told no problem here, whereas we've done all the procedures, we've done all the correct way of notifying the immigration head office the fact that we now no longer reside in the Bangkok province. And I can only imagine this guy here has gone through an agent at some stage, right, had an agent renew his visa. How they do that beats me. Why they go to Pattaya if they're living in Bangkok? Why do they talk to an agent in Pattaya to renew their visa, and pay 25,000? Well, anybody's guess. But that then sort of locates them in the Pattaya province, because they, the person doing that renewal has to fake some sort of residency certificate for that process to happen, and so that means that you've now got your residency certificate, or your home address is now being located in Pattaya. So, as far as Bangkok's concerned, well, we've got you listed in Chonburi. You can't renew in Bangkok. This is what happens in Thailand. So, getting back to the point, as I know I get sidetracked. Getting back to the point, what we've got to really focus on is the fact that I live in Nakhon Pathom, so I can only give you, what it's like on a daily life basis living in Nakhon Pathom. It's going to be different to Bangkok. It's going to be different to Chonburi. It's going to be different to Ratchaburi. It's going to be different to Phetchaburi. It's going to be different because each province operates differently. And it's up to you to think about where you want to live, and then make that decision, and then reach out to the people. We are here to help you get a foothold. We're not here to tell you what's right or wrong. We're just that guy that I don't know how to do this. Let me call Warren. Warren's on Discord. Let's jump on Discord. Maybe he knows an answer to that. And that's what we're here for. I'm very, very contactable. The Discord's running all the time. And if I'm home, I've got my headphones on, and you're totally welcome to jump on and talk, ask questions and listen to me rave on for half an hour or whatever. I've got to get my 7,000 words out, if you know what I mean. I don't get a chance to do that.
I'm sure you have no problem doing that, mate.
Well, I don't know. But when I'm playing games, apart from the swearing and cursing, I'm not really getting my words out. The only time I get to use my words is when somebody comes on Discord. So you get the idea. It's just one of those things. I love chatting to people. It's one of those things. I love listening as well. But most of the time, people are asking me questions, and I don't like giving half answers. I like to qualify the answer to sort of help you grok the answer. I don't know if it's a term most people don't know. Grok is just, it's a level above understanding. And that's why I tend to be very wordy when it comes to giving an answer. I want you to sort of get more of a picture, the answer becomes part of your psychological processing, as opposed to somebody says, should I go to Pattaya or should I go to Phuket? Well, yeah, I would say Phuket. It's a good answer, but it doesn't qualify anything. There's reasons why you make those choices, and I always like to give the reasons that my thinking process goes through. I know some people think that's a bit over wordy, and other people think it's very helpful. I don't know. I don't know these people. You know me. I've been out there for 5 years. I'm just here, right? If you can deal with the long... You can always tell me to shut the fuck up. I'm a big guy. And now I'm going to have a tirade of STFUs on the chat now. You watch.
I'll tell you what, I would like to know an answer to the question from the 3 people on my screen and the other people watching. So I live in Texas, the United States of America, and on the 1st of September there was a new law brought in here, and the law is anybody who doesn't have a felony is a crime where you can do a year in jail, okay? Mm-hmm. Anybody who does not have a felony, like myself, can carry a weapon, a gun.
Firearm.
Yeah, a firearm, exactly. Which I have right next to me right now. So I can walk out of my house. In my house, it might not look like the house on TV here, but I can walk out of the house now, and I can have my gun in a holster on my right hip, and go to the store and buy a beer, buy some food, buy whatever, and there's no problem with it. So what I'm saying is, on the 1st of September of this year, anybody that does not have a felony in the state of Texas in the United States can carry a weapon openly. That's not concealed. That's not under your jacket or anything. I can literally walk around and it's open. On the same day, they approved a law that said that women who are pregnant and have a child within them that has a heartbeat, which means 6 weeks. So if there's a woman out there who's got pregnant, whether she's been raped, whether it's a consensual, normal pregnancy, cannot by law have an abortion in America, or at least in Texas. So as of the 1st of September, I can walk outside, and most other people who don't have a felony can walk around in the street, down the road, with a gun in a holster on your hip. Perfectly legal. A woman who may have been raped, or a woman who may have not want to have a baby, cannot have an abortion. Abortion is now illegal in the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's disgraceful.
Well, from what I've heard, if the cases are rape or something like that, they can still get the abortion. It's just a lot of people, it's that late-term abortion thing. It really bothered a lot of people. Basically, the baby could be born, and if the mother suddenly says, kill it, you kill it. It's just, I don't know. I just think it's a whole mess. My only issue with abortions is I don't want to have to pay for it. It shouldn't come out of taxpayer money. It should cost you a lot of money to get an abortion. That way you don't have them every other week. which is what a lot of chicks around here do. They use it as a birth control instead of when birth control screws up.
Hmm. I know how that works. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got no answer for that. I think it's this again, snowflakes running countries. It's just this is what you're going to get.
And as for the open carry of the guns, we've been allowed to do that in Alabama forever. So I don't know. I go to the
Isn't
store.
that
I see
one of
people
your Fourth Amendments?
It is, well, the right to bear arms. It's just the open carry like that. Some states allow it, some states don't. Alabama, where I live, we allow it. I see it all the time. It doesn't bother me. People who carry their guns out in the open are usually not the bad guys.
Yeah. Gordo, so the Australian Prime Minister yesterday said the states, New South Wales, etc., get to 80% VAC will allow people on to holiday in another country. By the rate of vaccination, this would be around December, January. Okay, interesting. I heard if you wanted to get back into the country, that all you got to do is just get to where's the Taliban now? Was it Afghanistan? Get a flight to Afghanistan and get evacuated from Afghanistan to Australia because you can't get in any other way. Is that right?
Yeah.
There's some weird shit going on. I
Yeah.
tell you. Give me a break.
He's back?
Yeah, sorry about that. It was unintentional. I hit the wrong button. I've been drinking
That's
alcohol.
cool.
No, it really was. And but a gentle, I don't know. On the top left of my screen, there's I guess an American guy.
Yeah. Bubba.
What's your name?
Bubba.
Bubba.
Bubba. Sorry, buddy. I wasn't disagreeing with you. I literally clicked on the wrong button. But yeah, it just seems weird to me that they bring out a law where everybody can carry guns, which in America is the it's in the Constitution, but you can't get an abortion. So.
No, you can get an abortion.
Just go to a different state.
Don't wait to the last minute to have it.
Right. Well, thankfully, you and I, we need to get an abortion. Anyway.
I don't know what drives these rules. I think again, the whole idea is the fact that that the woman herself, well, she's not actually committing the act. It's the doctor and their doctor's sensibilities. Part of their creed is to protect all life, and I guess that would constitute the fact that the fetus is life. So and of course, America is a fairly heavily indoctrinated sort of Christian dogma. Yeah. So yeah, and protecting, but where it all sort of seems to the two sides.
On,
yeah.
That's cool, but it's just when you kind of wait to the last minute, that's kind of when I kind of draw the line. It's kind of
Go stuck in Florida.
Health or something like that. So.
Sorry, I'm still eating my chicken.
Yeah, but what do you think? What do you think about the fact that you, me, and other people in the United States of America just walk around with guns on our waist?
I've carried a gun everywhere I've been since 1980. No, since 1994.
But isn't that
weapons permit?
But isn't that how America? Doesn't that how America really grew up?
I lived in Miami for 34 years, and then I'm in Alabama.
My idea of America from a Westerner point of view, or from an Australian point of view, is the fact that guns have been ubiquitous throughout America ever since the first settlement. It's been okay, every movie, of Texas has got a freaking cowboy, with a gun on his hole, open carry was always been an image of America.
It's in our DNA.
So, again, we didn't have problems 100 years ago. The only problem we got now is a bunch of snowflakes running around, making governmental decisions because they have to justify their position in government.
Yeah, it's not the guns, it's the people.
Yeah, it's the people. Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah.
But again,
I'm not, like my street alone, we probably have between 20 houses, over 600 guns. Not one of these guns has killed anybody, ever. It's not the gun, it's the people.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years ago here in El Paso, somebody walked into Walmart, and I can't remember, sadly, how many people they killed, but they just mowed down a lot of people in Walmart. And if everybody was allowed to have weapons at that time, I mean, if I was in Walmart on that day, that guy he said, "I hate Mexicans," all right? And he went around and he shot, if you remember it, a load of Mexicans. Well, if I was allowed to have a gun, and if I lived in El Paso at that time, and I had a gun on me, I probably could have stopped that guy.
Yeah, well, that's what surprised me when the shooting happened. There wasn't enough sheepdogs around in Texas to handle that. They had to wait for the cops to show up. That's not the Texas I remember.
No. So, a lot of people say, America's full of guns. Everybody's always shooting everybody. There's more multiple murders in America than any other country in the world. And it's true. There is. But you can't change the fact that if every household in the United States of America has a gun, then maybe if every good person has a gun and they're in a situation where there is some idiot shooting people, you can stop it, because the police can't be everywhere all the time.
Yeah. Well, guns aren't in the Constitution for self-defense mainly. It's mostly there, that way we can defend ourselves against a tyrannical government. So that's why we can basically have some military-grade weapons, because as long as it's a common weapon,
Yeah.
I look at it this way. From someone that's been trained with my previous employment, you've got a room of 4 people. You've got a gun in the middle. Will that gun shoot those 4 people?
No.
No. It's not the gun that kills.
Yeah.
It's the person that has the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And when you tell that to someone, logically, they sit there for about 5 or 10 minutes and they still can't think it. Guns don't kill, people kill.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It doesn't have to be a gun. It could be a machete. It can be a hunter's knife. It could be a samurai sword.
You're more likely to be killed by a doctor in America than anything else.
There we go.
It's
not an issue of the guns. It's the issue of the people who own a lethal weapon.
Exactly.
And you can even put cars in that.
Yeah.
You can even put cars in that category. But everyone gets all, and I'll say it, up in arms, excuse the pun, about weapons of a projectile that comes from the chamber, i.e. a rifle, a small arms,
Compound bow.
It should be all about the people and the people that own them.
Compound bow, the whole thing. But
Exactly.
there was a look. I don't know the legitimacy of the experiment. But it goes around every so often. This meme sort of experiment, sort of thought palace thing, where you had 4 monkeys in a room with a bunch of bananas up the ladder in the center of the room, right? And as the monkeys went to get the bananas, the water jets would spray water on the monkeys, and then one by one they replaced all the monkeys in the room with other monkeys. And what they found, the fact that after they did this a few times, the monkeys wouldn't climb to get the bananas because the other monkeys would stop them, because all the monkeys used to get wet. But none of the monkeys in that room has ever got wet. It was just the fact that the thought of getting wet, because they were, the other monkeys that were replaced, eventually took over the process of the squirting of the water. I don't know how legitimate that is, but it just again shows this this fact. Yeah, we've had some issues with people with mental issues causing problems, and I think we're alluding to that. The mental issues of certain people create this paradigm. Right, yet it's not the people, it's the people that they don't focus on the mental issue. When they don't resolve the mental issue, they'd rather get rid of the weapons, they want to change the laws so that, keeping the people in their cotton wool cage, right, rather than address the issue of the fact that there's a certain subsection of the community, right, who just are not fit to be human on the planet. right? And why aren't we dealing with that issue, right? I think somebody alluded to the fact that, you know, this has only been an advent of the psychoactive drugs that are being issued for the last 30 to 40 years from the pharmaceutical industry. Right, and this is what I put it down to. Like, you know, in the 60s, we had a movement in the 60s where LSD was becoming very, very commonplace, and it was adjusting people's thought processes to be actually, in my mind, good people. You know, they were solving a lot of the issues that we were having to deal with, you know, the close confines of more people in society, and that's something that another, you know, study has been done over and over again about this thing we call our personal space. And once that personal space is encroached, you feel threatened. It doesn't matter who it is. You could be your best friend or you could be your worst enemy. Once that personal space, and that personal space that people have to deal with, it varies for everybody based on their whole life experience. And we're not addressing those issues. We'd rather take the guns away from legitimately sort of stable people, right? Because there's a very small subsection of loose cannons out there, and at no time are we really dealing with the loose cannons. It really just, it beats me why the world goes in these weird, wonderful side ramps of total illogic. But anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, in the United Kingdom, right? There was a shooting in a school in Scotland. I forget when exactly it was. Excuse me for forgetting that, but it was in the 1990s. So they said we're going to ban all guns in England from getting into the civilians' hands. So that worked. Okay, there wasn't any more shootings. But now in England, where I'm from, everybody's stabbing everybody. You know. And if you see it online, you'll see that you know, some guy was stabbed in the park, some lady was stabbed in the park. You know, personally, I'd rather be shot than stabbed. But
Well,
I've
just
been
proves
shot
my
and
point.
stabbed, they both
It's not
suck.
it's not the actual item itself. It's the people that use the item. I mean, even a circular saw can kill you if used incorrectly.
or
It's
a
a tool.
screwdriver. Yeah, exactly.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
If used incorrectly or used in a malicious way, it's going to cause damage. So it's not about the guns. It's not about the weapon. It's not about the item. It's about how people are moving in so many weird directions that sometimes I wonder if a logical person with an IQ of around 100 can even keep up with what basic society is doing. Seriously.
John Wick 2, let's ban all ballpoint pens. You know? I don't know if you've seen
Well,
John
to
Wick
be
2.
honest,
John,
Pens are awesome. Pens are awesome. Seriously.
But Todd, seriously, mate. I mean, if you're on a street and you want to do harm to people, and you've got a semi-automatic or a fully automatic weapon, you can probably do a lot more harm than somebody with a knife or a ballpoint pen. That's the difference.
But I could just get a box truck.
You can what?
Well,
You could just drive a box truck into, say, a Christmas festival like that happened in Germany, or down this road sidewalk in France. I mean,
a similar thing happened in Melbourne, Victoria, last year.
Yeah.
Someone drove down the mall. It doesn't have to be what they typically call a weapon. It's the state of mind of the person who's got an intent to do harm. I mean, that's the level that we're probably not sort of looking at properly. It's the state of someone in their head that's got an intent to do harm. It doesn't matter what's around them. They'll find something. It's the intent of what they're going to do. Instead of looking around and saying, hey, I'm in a great life. I've woken up this morning. I'm still breathing. I'm still talking. I'm still able to engage. What is the one thing I can do good? And I put that challenge out. If people do that at least for 6 months, what sort of change would occur? I'm no what's that, snowflake? I'm no hippie. I'm no nice guy. But because of what I've seen and what I've been through, I at least try and do it once a day. Do something good for someone else. I'm not trying to change the world, but
So Todd, let me ask you one question. in Texas, in America, you know, everybody knows Texas. It's the big state in America. So, is it a good thing or a bad thing for people to be able to wear arms on their side openly without any licenses or training?
It's not up to me to say. I'm not a government or in that sort of position. But again, would it be the same if someone had a air-powered nail gun and they're walking down the street from Tesco to their house? It's the same sort of thing. It's a mechanical item that can do harm and kill. There is no difference. It's the intent of the person that has it in their possession.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question. So let's say you live here, where I do, in Texas, right? And you're going down, you're going to the supermarket, you're going to church, you're going to pay your bills, whatever it might be. If you see a whole bunch of people, normal people like you and me, well, it's not normal, but just a bunch of regular people going about their daily business, and they've all got sidearms on, are you going to feel threatened, or are you going to feel it's okay?
Well, from my background, it's a little bit,
Weird.
I suppose, skewed. I was in an environment where people had weapons for 14 years.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about work. I'm talking about, you know, you live in Australia, you're going to the store to get your bread, you get your milk and stuff, and if all these people around you have weapons on them, you're going to feel a bit weird about that?
Good question, and all I can say is when in Rome. That's it. I'm not evading the question. It's like if I go to another country, and I have lived in other countries, it's that country. You'll stand out more if you don't relate to that country. It's what's happening. So if you start sort of saying, well, this is not right for me, that's not right for me, that's not right for me, and you make an ass of yourself, of course it's going to upset you internally, it's going to upset you mentally, psychologically. But if you understand the situation, you adapt to the situation, and you think, well, is this the norm or is this not the norm? Okay, this is the norm. I'm going to make myself stand out. I'm going to put myself in a position where I'm going to be perceived as being threatened. Well, my brain says you're going to turn yourself into a target.
Yeah.
That's my thought process, basically.
Right. Okay.
Now, too slow coach has asked a question. I've got a question for you. What do all your chatters on screen have in common? I just think the fact that one, they know how to use Discord is the first one. Second thing, they're free thinking people, and third, they're all they all follow the channel. There's the three common elements. So again, it's just